Alright, today I'm going to rank the best and worst straight to funding accounts, also known as direct funding or instant funding where you skip the evaluation phase. This is not a prop firm ranking. I'm only ranking straight to funding accounts. So if your favorite company is at the bottom, just know that this is an indictment on them as a firm. They might have great challenge accounts, but then they hopped on the instant funding bandwagon and their offering there is complete dog water. Moving on. Last week, I covered the best way to go about trading these accounts, and this week we're ranking them. Spoiler alert, a lot of them are terrible. Stick around to the end, and I'll share the absolute worst straight to funding firm in the game, and it's not even a scam, it's just trash. Now, when I first started this channel last year, I was all about the instant funding. I didn't know anything about them, but I knew I was sick of doing evals. So around the holidays, I went balls deep and bought 12 of these bad boys. And man, let me tell you, I learned a lot, and I'm going to do all of you a solid and save you a lot of time and money with this video. Just keep in mind, there's no free lunch, and most of the time you get what you pay for. If the price is low and the terms are great, it's either an outright scam, a bait and switch, or you just haven't read enough of the fine print. All right, coming in at number one, my number one pick is Purdia. They've never denied a single payout, and what makes Purdia so special is that unlike any other firm in the industry, this is the only straight-to-funding firm that has no consistency rule, no intraday drawdown, and zero gimmicks. You just need to trade for 10 days, make $3,000, and you can withdraw your entire balance if you so choose. It's unreal. So, what's the downside? What's stopping traders from getting one lucky windfall and then flipping the rest of the days? Well, nothing. The only two cons to Purdia, in my view, are price. Let's face it, you get what you pay for. And trust me, when I say Purdia has the lowest barrier to payout in the industry, and that comes at a premium price. The second is you can only have one account, so there's the trade-off. But if you're an experienced trader that is tired of jumping through hoops and ready to get paid, I can't stress this enough. Purdia has the lowest barrier to payout. No denials, no fine print. That low barrier to payout is what earns them the top spot. At first, most of you will just be looking at price and not much else, which is fine if you're just starting out. But if you do enough of these sorts of accounts as I have, you start to realize it doesn't matter how cheap an account is if you can't get your money out. If that sounds like you and you want to support the channel, use code DREAMS for 20% off. Coming in at number 2 and also going straight into the S tier is, no surprise, Tradeify. Tradeify is the firm that really popularized instant funding. While fast-track trading, flexi-trade, and profit trade were hemorrhaging money and denying payouts left and right before eventually going under, one firm remained when the dust settled, and that was Tradeify. Like Purdia, they have had zero payout denials, and unlike Purdia, the accounts are a little bit more affordable, and you can stack up to 5 of them. And they're on sale. The 50Ks are only $300. Use code DREAMS for 35% off. These accounts come with an end-of-day drawdown, 7 days to pay out, and a 20% consistency rule, and a 90-10 profit split. For your first payout, you need to make $3,000 to get paid, and then $2,000 on subsequent payouts. Platform-wise, they offer Tradeify, TradingView, and NinjaTrader. There's no other fine print, news rule, or any gotcha rule. Now, pay attention to those rules because every other firm on here I'm about to cover is essentially a derivative of Tradeify's straight-to-funding model, except worse. In some cases, they sort of shuffle the deck. In one particular case I'll cover at the end is just laughably bad. All right, let's get into it. Starting with the best of the rest, we have Lucid. Now, Lucid is still pretty new and came out a few months ago. I don't have a problem with them at all. Similar rules, no bad press. I was actually thinking about giving them a try and was going to do a Lucid review at some point, but then as I was reading their website, I realized that much of it was just a copy and paste of Tradeify, only without Tradeify. They have a quant-algorithmic, which is fine. Obviously that model works, but all things being equal, I'm going to go with Tradeify, the firm that's been around longer and paid out nearly $10 million last month. So, all right, next up is Goat Funded Futures. Good Lord, too many red flags to mention here. They just don't have their crap together at all. I remember being so optimistic on them when they first came out, but they are the definition of overpromising and undelivering. At one point, they were like 3 months behind on payouts. I'm not sure if they're a scam or if they're just really poorly run business. And even if they were well run, their straight to funding accounts have a deceptively high barrier to payout that is not at first immediately obvious. Do not get these. Next up, we got Prop Shop Trader. They do have their stuff together, and my God, their website is gorgeous. Unfortunately, when it comes to straight to funding, they have the worst of both worlds in that they have a consistency rule and an intraday trailing drawdown. I could do a whole video on why I hate the intraday trailing drawdown. I had two break even trades just this past week, and under their system, I'd effectively be down $2,000 worth of drawdown. Not only that, it took me a long time to read through all the fine print on the Prop Shop Trader's website. Purdia's rules could fit on the back of a napkin, but with Prop Shop Trader, there are far too many very specific barriers to getting paid out. Let me give you an example. To request your first withdrawal, it needs to be on a week where you've traded 3 separate days. Why is that a problem? Let's say you bought your account on a Monday, and because you're amazing, you win every day of that week. However, you need to trade at least 6 days to get a payout. So you trade Monday too. But wait, I can only get paid on weeks where I've traded 3 separate days. You now have to log 2 more trading days that week in order to get paid, and you can't flip them either. So the 6 trading days to payout is deceptive. It's effectively 8 trading days, and that's the best case scenario. To top it off, once you finish jumping through all the hoops, the payout caps on even the largest accounts are super weak. And so for that, I am putting them in the do not buy. Ain't nobody trying to do consistency rule and an intraday trailing drawdown. All right, let's see. Next up is Savas. Savas is an Italian prop firm that I also don't recommend. A couple of affiliates have been promoting a big sale they have going on right now, and honestly, if you read the website, it seems pretty good. The rules look pretty similar to Tradeify. In practice, however, there's a lot of headwinds that aren't immediately apparent from reading the webpage. For starters, you don't know exactly what price you're going to pay because it's in euros and you'll end up paying an additional premium for currency exchange. And spoiler alert, the dollar has been falling hard against the euro all year. So you're going to end up paying more than you think. Next, unlike literally every other firm on here, you have to pay $90 a month for data. This tacks on nearly an extra 30% onto the price. That aside, there's a lot of soft red flags as well. They try to get you to tack on a lot of upgrades you can pay for at checkout, such as daily loss protection, which honestly isn't even a good idea anyway, because it essentially ruins your ability to take meaningful trades and get paid. The terms seem good on the surface, but despite what their website says, they will push you into a live account as early as your first or second payout, which might seem good, but the live conditions are terrible. You might have started with 5 accounts and 5K drawdown each, but then after one solid payout, you can be put into live with terrible conditions and drastically reduced buying power. I'm talking $1,000 drawdown and a 30% consistency. Just super not worth it. And oh, did I mention one trader basically had to sue after she qualified for a 20K payout and they refused to pay her? Yeah, a hard pass. I'm not going to even get into the problems I had trying to copy my account from their Volsi DX feed. It just wasn't a great experience. Let's move on. I'm going to put this in the D tier. Do not buy. Next, we got Tick Tick Trader. Tick Tick Trader is a company I've made a lot of money with. And first of all, let me say that I still have my Tick Tick Trader accounts. I've gotten several payouts from them. As we speak, I have quite a bit of money still in those accounts. So let me choose my words very carefully. My experience with them has been very positive. Having said that, the rules are not as good as when I bought the accounts. The profit split has dropped from 90-10 to 80-20, and their new straight to funding plus offering is not very attractive. There's a lot of barriers to pay out there. There's no consistency on the straight to funding plus, but they've somehow managed to replace it with something that's even worse. If you want to diversify, Tick Tick Trader is legit and does pay out. I'd recommend the regular straight to funding accounts, not the plus, but keeping it 100, they are essentially a worse version of Tradeify. For example, Tradeify pays me out in under 5 minutes. While with Tick Tick Trader, they're going to freeze my account, and it takes an entire week to do a review before paying me out. So the Tick Tick Trader direct accounts, they are going to go into the C tier and the straight to funding plus. They're going into the D tier. Do not recommend. If you decide to go that route and want to support the channel, use code DREAMS for the best deal there. Next up, we got Trader Funder. Trader Funder. Now, I really wanted to like them. They are owned by T3, the same company that owns S&B Capital. And at first glance, their offering seems pretty good. For $400, granted, that's a little bit higher. Most of the accounts on this list are going to be in the 300s, but stay with me. For $400, you get a 50K account with a $2,500 end-of-day drawdown, a 1K daily loss limit, and a 30% consistency rule. Payouts are unlocked after only $1,250 and 5 days of trading with no payout cap. I'm like, what? Sign me up. But now the downsides. You can only withdraw 50% of the account at any one time. So say you make $3,000. You can only withdraw $1,500 of that, and then after the 80-20 profit split, you're left with $1,200. The whole thing is sort of an illusion. In reality, it's a built-in buffer, just like the other companies, only it's not explicitly stated. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the news rule and the daily loss rule, which are both hard breaches. They're not soft breaches like most other firms these days. The news rule is the worst. You can't trade within 2 minutes before or after red folder news. Now, we're all familiar with the jobs reports and FOMC, but let's say, for example, you forgot about the 10 a.m. jolts or ISM one day, and you aren't out at least 2 minutes prior. Your whole account is closed, no questions asked. The same with the daily loss rule. It's very unforgiving. It's real easy to lose an account with this firm. Then there goes all your hard work. No thanks. There's definitely better options, and this is going in the D tier for do not recommend as well. Next up, we've got day traders. Day traders has pretty much the same rules as everybody else, with a slightly higher price, about $40 higher at $370 for 50K. There's 10 days to pay out. Platforms are Project X, Quant Tower, Rhythmic. They do have one advantage over the competition, and that's 100% profit split in favor of the trader. The payout cap is 2K, and you get to keep all of that. Now, once you get pulled live, that does go down to 70-30 profit split. Now, I haven't tried them myself, but that's an A-tier offering, honestly. There's some complaints in the reviews of weaker results when copy trading other accounts apples to apples, which makes me think they might have higher commissions or fees, which could put a drag on your account. But that's just me speculating. While this is an A offering, I would employ caution here. That whole Apex lawsuit, Kellyanne situation is still fresh in my head, and that sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. But if you're giving them a try, if you're going to give them a try, or you have given them a try, let me know in the comments. All right, next up is the lightning round. Top one word, trash. 2 words, payout denials. Humble Futures, another firm that costs more than Tradeify but has an intraday drawdown and the consistency rule. No, thank you. And finally, Blue Sky, which is a bit different in 3 main ways. Number 1, they have a 21% consistency rule instead of 20%. 2, they're the most expensive account on this list at $600, despite having the same old $2,500 drawdown and a slightly higher $3,500 profit target to reach. And 3, one of the worst rules I have ever seen on this entire list. For every 10 active trading days, you can only have 3 negative days. This means 4 days will fail your account. This might be the worst rule I have ever heard of. Imagine winning 6 out of your first 10 days, being up $6,000 because your winning days are larger than your losing days. But because of this rule, your account gets closed. I mean, what is the upside to this account? At $600, it costs far more than the competition. It has an insane 50-50 profit split for the first 30 days. And with this terrible 4-day losing rule, it's only a matter of time before you lose the account. Do not buy this account. So there you have it. If you're new and want to give straight to funding a shot, I recommend Tradeify. And if you're already a really experienced trader and don't want to deal with the consistency rule, I recommend Purdia. If you're a Quant Tower person, I recommend Lucid or maybe day traders, although I still have my reservations about them. And if you haven't checked out my last video on how to pass these accounts, be sure to check that out here, and I'll catch you guys all later. Peace.